Yeah.
Thank you. Good evening and welcome to our press conference ahead of tomorrow night's match against Borussia Dortmund. We'll start with Sky Sports, and if you want to ask a question, please raise your hand and we'll come to you.
Hi Eddie.
Hi Keith.
How are the lads all feeling physically and I guess emotionally after what has been two huge performances and two huge wins for your team in the last week?
Yeah, I'd say very good. Physically, I think we'd be fine. Haven't done any training. We, prepared the game tactically, but physically laid right off the players, which we have to in this moment. And emotionally, very good. Obviously, feeling good about the last two results.
So fine, Simon.
You obviously don't have your injury problems to seek at the moment. Dan Burn got injured with his back at the weekend. How is he ahead of this one? Is there any chance of him featuring?
Unfortunately not. Dan will be out for some time, I think. So it's another long-term problem. A couple of months. Is it sort of a speculative number for us? He landed on his spine. I think he's got a problem with the base of his spine, so a huge blow.
I guess a huge blow for you in terms of what he brings to the team, but also his character behind the scenes and what he's like in the dressing room.
Yeah, absolutely. So it's he's been gigantic for us since he signed, for lots of different reasons, as I've continually said. His character, his determination to win, his experience, and his versatility as well. So it's not just sort of one position we're losing. We're losing his ability to play centre back as well. So, but it's something we have to roll with.
Okay. Anyone else? Lee Ryder.
Eddie, it's 2 years since you've taken over as Newcastle manager. Would you have believed you'd be in Dortmund 2 years after that?
No. As I said, when we took over, the vision was very short term. It was, can we stay in the Premier League? And we hadn't won for some time. So it was firstly getting that first win and building the confidence from there, really. And once it came, I think we steadily improved. But to be in this point so soon after those moments is something we don't take for granted.
You've instilled so much belief back into the football club. A lot of people say you've got the club back now. That must give you immense satisfaction.
I think, that the whole feeling at the club gives us immense satisfaction. The working environment the players have got, the culture we have at the training ground is very strong. The relationships are really strong through the spine of the club, which I feel for a successful football club, it gives you the best opportunity. And most importantly, I think the relationship with our supporters and the players and us is really healthy and it's in a good place. And I think that combination is so strong for us at the moment.
Just finally on the game tomorrow, a lot of people saying it's a must win because of the situation with Dortmund overtaking in the group. But do you see it that way or?
Well, it's inbuilt in me. I think every game's a must-win. And the term probably is overused in football because I just feel that's the only way that we prepare. We prepare to try and win every game. We never have anything else in our minds. So that's what we'll try and do in this one.
Okay, I'm going to go to Jordan and then Luke. Jordan.
I actually mentioned the injuries there as well. Obviously, you've got Emil Kraft unavailable as well, alongside Matt Ritchie. How do you pick a bench tomorrow? Because I think I've counted, you've actually got 16 first-team players unavailable.
Yeah, like that, really. You see who's fit and who's available, and we've added a couple of younger players to the squad. But we'll go with that. I mean, that's all we can do. I think that you're always going to get injuries. I think the problem for us is a lot of the injuries we've got currently are on the longer-term scale, which means there's no relief coming around the corner, which then leaves every game that you play, you're in a dangerous position. But we wouldn't have it any other way. I've said we've really enjoyed the games that we've had. It's just the games have come at a cost recently and with injuries that you can't prepare for. So Dan, again, going up for a header, falling on his back. That could happen in any moment. But unfortunately for us, it's come at the wrong time.
You mentioned family, obviously, our left back and Matt Target. What's the diagnosis with him? How long will he be out for potentially?
We don't know 100%. I think he's seeing a specialist tonight, but we'll get clearer information. But it's not going to be a short-term fix for Matt. He will definitely be out for, I'd probably say around 3 months. But again, that's a rough estimate just to give you guys he'll be around that figure regardless of whether he has surgery or not.
Okay, I'm going to Luke and then Scott Wilson. Luke?
Hi, I was going to make a joke about you turning up on time for this game, but probably now with all these injuries, it's kind of taken the wind out my sails a bit. Sorry to draw you back to what happened at the weekend, but Mikel Arteta's comments are still causing quite a stir back home. It's everywhere, all over the media. Have you had any further reflections on it, on what he said on Saturday evening about your victory?
No, I've had no reflections because I've been preparing for this game and looking immediately at Dortmund and reflecting on our game against them, which was just a short time ago, and trying to get the margins in our favour from that because it was a tight game. There was very little between the two teams, I thought, but they deserve to win ultimately, and now we have to try and play better than we did a couple of weeks ago.
And with these injuries, your squad is stretched now, isn't it? It's fair to say that you are really, really stretched in key areas.
We are. No denying that. I think we've been stretched for a few weeks. But with every player that we lose, the problem looms a little bit larger, because if we lose players from this position, then we become in a very difficult position. But there's nothing we can do. There's no transfer window. As I said, a lot of the players have longer term issues, but the players that we do have stepped up, and they've all given more, and that is the mentality we're going to need in the coming weeks. All we can do is approach the next game in the best way we can, and then the international break will come at a good time, but we'll get very little relief from that in terms of players back after that.
And sorry, just one more about Arsenal, if I may. Jamal Lascelles said that he was very disappointed that people wouldn't shake his hand after the game. What did you make of that?
I haven't seen that, Luke.
Okay, Scott and then Matthew Raisbeck. Scott?
Eddie, you say about reflecting on the first game and the margins kind of being tight. I mean, how much do you feel you can tweak the way that your side plays? Because it feels like, to a certain extent, Newcastle's style is Newcastle's style in terms of pressing high, trying to be adventurous with the ball. I mean, is it an easy to be able to make those kind of tweaks?
Well, we always make tweaks for every game, for every opponent, because every game is different. We know two games are ever the same, and we never prepare that way. So as much as it might be difficult to sort of see that, which I understand it would be, unless you're seeing how we work, there'll always be in-game changes, pre-game changes. And, yeah, looking back to the Dortmund game is a useful exercise, I think, the first game. But it's not definitive, because they may change the way they play. We may change the way we play. So, but I think it was two evenly balanced teams going against each other. That game could have gone either way. Of course, we hit the woodwork a couple of times late in the match. But I think the players have a good idea what to expect. They are a top team, and they've got players that can hurt us. So I think there's full respect from us, but hopefully we can get the margins on our side this time.
Matthew and then Martin Hardy. Matthew.
Eddie, with Dan Burn unavailable, you will have to make at least one change. Tino Livramento has done well for you in recent weeks and came on at half-time for Burn at the weekend. How ready would you say he is for the Champions League, because he hasn't featured for you yet in the competition?
Yeah, I think Tino's a very good player. I think he showed that coming on to a difficult moment on Saturday, because that game was evenly poised. The atmosphere is red hot. He's playing against a very good opponent. He's come on and he's done really well again. And Kieran did really well as well, having to switch his position. So that we'll make the decision based on all the information we have in terms of how we go with the team selection. And fingers crossed the back four's unaffected.
Joe Willett made his comeback for you from injury in the previous match against Dortmund in the Champions League. After having a couple of outings since then, what sort of level would you say he's at in terms of his fitness?
I'd say he's done really well. I thought he made a real positive impact coming on against Arsenal. Of course, played the part in the goal. But his all-round performance and physical well-being has looked really strong. So delighted with his return to the team. And yeah, he always gives us a different balance in midfield. He always gives us something different that we haven't got.
Martin Hardy and then Chris Woff.
You're in Dortmund in the Champions League. You beat Manchester City, Manchester United and Arsenal in recent weeks. Does it bother you if you upset them, or is that part of the process to become a regular team at this level?
upset the
English teams.
We've got no desire to upset anybody, just to try and win. And however we do that, I've got no issue with that as long as we do it within the spirit of the game. So we are competitive. We're hugely ambitious, and full compliment to the players and how they handled Saturday.
And is the desire you have matched by your players in terms of progression?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think you can see that from how we've performed, the spirit within the group. I think the players have handled themselves magnificently this season in difficult situations.
Chris and then Craig.
Hi, Eddie.
Hi, Chris.
For Sandro, have you had clarity yet as to whether he's allowed to play in friendly matches going forward? And I know you said he was going to be potentially involved with the team flying places. Has he come out on this trip as well?
No, he hasn't travelled with us. He trained this morning and trained well. Have we got clarity on that?
We haven't yet, Chris, no.
And in terms of, obviously, there was the information on Friday that the FA are going to look into it as well. Has there been anything further that the club's heard on that?
Nothing that I'm aware of.
Okay. Craig?
Eddie, you've been on the receiving end of some perceived VR injustices this season and last. Do you see the worth in clubs releasing statements such as Arsenal did?
I'm not going to comment on that. That's nothing to do with me, how another team decides to handle that situation.
I know we've sort of been here before, but I heard you refer to this morning as Atletico Tyneside, which is a nod to obviously the old Diego Simeone comparisons in light of Saturday. What do you think about that? And is it a case of, you guys will do what you've got to do to win a football match? Does that show versatility almost?
Sorry, I missed the start of that. Who said that?
It was just mentioned somewhere. On Atletico Tyneside, you referred to a nod to Atletico Madrid.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just play the game, Craig. Honestly, I think we play hard. I think we play the game in a really strong way because we want to win. But I think we play fair, and we'll do the same again.
Okay, Damien Spellman up at the back.
Eddie, firstly, can I just ask what kind of response you'd expect to what happened about to Borussia Dortmund at the weekend?
You're a long way away, Damien. That's what the problem is. These things can happen, and I thought it was a really good game, actually, watching it back, and I thought BeIN played very well. They got the goals at a good time for them. But it was two really good teams going against each other, and I think when you come here, one thing we're guaranteed, I think, is a brilliant atmosphere to play the game in. I think we will be prepared for that, but then managing that through the game will be all down to our performance and how well we perform in the match, and how well we start is going to be key. But certainly we know the power of the home fans here.
And secondly, just going back to Martin's question about ruffling feathers, does your message have to be as a group that get used to it, we're here to stay?
No, we're not intentionally ruffling any feathers. We're just trying to win. And as I said, I want the players to stand up for each other. I want them to play competitive football. I want us to be strong in certain moments, which we have to be. And I think we did all of those things on Saturday. I've got no issue at all with how we played.
Okay, for you to finish, Simon Bird, then Oscar.
Just back to the Jamal comments after the game on Saturday. He said he was fuming that Jorginho didn't shake his hands. Should players always shake hands after the game, no matter how competitive and tough it's been?
I can only speak for myself. I can't speak for other people. I would always like to think I'll shake the opponent's manager's hand as a mark of respect to him, but that's just how I feel.
The next question, would you always shake hands? And obviously you would.
Yeah.
On the injury situation, you've got. Can you keep playing this core of your first team repeatedly every 3-4 days, or will there become a breaking point where you've got to throw some younger players in and mix the squad up more?
I think we're running out of younger players to do that with, Simon. So I believe players can. I think Liverpool showed not so long ago in the Champions League, the Premier League, they went on all fronts and they played near enough the same group of players. Now we're almost having to do that through necessity at the moment. It wouldn't have been my preferred option. I would love to have rotated with the real strength of the group, but we're not going to be able to do that for a while.
Last few, Oscar and then Aaron.
Eddie, the England squad is out on Thursday. Anthony Gordon continues to knock on the door. Based on his form this season, do you believe he's deserving of a first senior call?
I'm sure he'll be in the frame. I'm sure he will be, because Gareth, I think, has been at a few of our games. He would have seen firsthand how well Anthony's doing. But he's competing with very good players in his position as well. That has to be noted. So look, let's wait and see what Gareth does.
You imagine Gareth will probably be watching tomorrow night. I mean, surely performing on a stage like this can force his hand somewhat.
There's no better place to do it for Anthony or for any player wanting to get into the international team. So this is the stage that you want to perform on.
Aaron?
Eddie, obviously we saw Kieran Trippier move to left back the other night for the second half. Given the injuries you've just mentioned at left back, do you see that you're having to do that more regularly from the start in the next couple of months?
It's an option for us. I'm not going to say with any certainty what we're going to do because I'm not going to give my team away. But yeah, that's one of the options we have.
So another option is Lewis Hall. What have you made of his start in the last couple of weeks, and how close to he is he? Probably filling in for BeIN and target in the Premier League.
Well, again, Lewis would be another option for us, and I just go back to the Manchester United game where I thought he started the game really well. He was a real attacking option for us. Scored a great goal. So yeah, I think he's in a good place.
Okay, that's all we have time for, guys. Thank you.
Thank you very much, everybody. Nice to see you. Cheers.
Most of my sound coming in now.
Are we doing our own questions then, are we? Is there enough to go at?
Good evening, everyone. So Fabian will answer any English questions in English and German in German, and then translation will come simultaneously through the headsets. Start with you, Keith, when you're ready.
Fabian, how are you feeling after the weekend? It's obviously been an intense time for the players. I know you had the rest at Old Trafford last week, but how are you feeling physically and mentally, and what is a very small squad just now given the amount of injuries that there are?
Yeah, I'm feeling good actually. Obviously, a win always helps. I think especially winning against like a top team gives you a boost in the confidence. And obviously, over the last few weeks, I think the team does really well. Everyone who steps in the team performing on a high level. And I know we have a few injuries, but I'm really proud of the team and the quality we have, so I'm looking forward for tomorrow.
The manager was just telling us a moment ago about Dan, the fact that he's going to be out for a few months with his back injury. For someone who plays alongside him, you've got to know him very well over the last few months, the last year or so. Sorry, how big a blow is that for you guys as a team?
Yeah, a big blow to be fair. Obviously, Dan is so important for us. He's been brilliant, and obviously, not just on the pitch, also off the pitch. Yeah, another blow in terms of injuries. But yeah, now there is time for other players to step up, and obviously I'm really confident in the team. And yeah.
Just finally from me, what are your experiences of playing here at the stadium?
Well, the game I played, we lost, so not great, to be fair. No, I mean, the stadium I know, and is going to be very tough for Newcastle tomorrow. Yeah, it's like when we play home, obviously the crowd giving us so much, so it's going to be the same for them tomorrow. Yeah, but we have to focus on ourselves and just forget the noise and what's going around us, and then just focus on our performance.
Reza?
Hi, Fabian. What has it been like over the last few weeks to play alongside Jamal Lascelles again at centre-back?
Yeah, I think he's been brilliant with he's stepping in and he's performing on a really high level. So I'm really happy for him as well, because obviously before he wasn't probably easy, not playing too much. I know how it is. I was in similar situations maybe, and but he's so professional and obviously a great character off the pitch as well, and I think he performed really well. So yeah, I'm really happy for him.
His injury has meant that you've moved from the right of central defence to the left. How comfortable are you with that positional change?
Well, it's going all right, to be fair. Maybe it's a bit different when you play the first game, but now I've been on that position a few games, so it's not a not too big difference if you play on the left and the right. So yeah, I'm really confident.
Scott and then Chris.
Hi, Fabian. There's been a kind of a lot said over the last few years about money that Newcastle have spent and things, but if you look at the team that played at the weekend, Jamal, yourself, Sean, Callum, Jacob before he went off, I mean, you've got players there who have gone on this entire journey with Newcastle. What do you think it says about you as a group? And just talk a little bit about the kind of journey that group of players has been on with Newcastle.
Well, I think it's just improvement from not just the club, also every individual. I mean, since the last 2 years, we've been on a brilliant journey, to be fair, and everyone stepped up. I think the togetherness we have in the squad, I've never had this in my career before. It's unbelievable. So I'm just really happy to be part of it, and I think that's the same for many other players. So we just try to fight for each other, and I think we've been so much better and so much improvement over the last few years. That's just great to see.
And how much praise do you think that Eddie and the rest of the coaching staff need for that? Because at various stages, a number of that group have kind of been written off. You know, are they going to be sold? Are they ever going to make it in Newcastle? And yet here you are playing Borussia Dortmund in the Champions League.
Yeah, obviously he's, I would say, the main character, or the managers. They've done unbelievable. They just made it possible, the way they're coaching, the way they put this group together, the togetherness we are in now. I think that's huge praise for them, and obviously I speak for myself, but I wouldn't be in that position possibly without him. So I'm just really thankful for him, and obviously the club that they brought him in. And I think, I just try to give everything back what I can do, and just leave the heart on the pitch.
Chris.
Hi, Fabian. I mean, obviously you played European football earlier in your career, but when you signed for Newcastle, did you envisage yourself playing in the Champions League with the club, given where they were at the time?
Probably not, no, to be honest, but at that stage I wouldn't even think about it. It was different times. Also the years I played, like the first 3 or 4 years in Newcastle were like almost more or less you play against relegation, which is obviously very different. And that's, I think, makes it even better for myself to still be at this club which I love so much, and now playing Champions League and having these good times over the last few years, and I'm just enjoying the moment.
You mentioned how much you love the club. I mean, obviously you've said before you had some tough times when you weren't in the team. Where does this stage in your career rank in terms of enjoyment and just fulfilment in the way that you're playing?
Yes, definitely best time of my career, to be honest. You're playing in the best league. You're playing for myself where I feel really comfortable. I feel like second home. I've said a few times. Been here now over 5 years, so I feel really confident, and obviously the city and the club, they gave me a lot, and I just want to give something back, and just see the enjoyment also for the fans and the good times they have. I think they really deserve it, and I'm just really thankful for that.
Craig and then Lee.
Fabian, obviously the night against Paris Saint-Germain was arguably the highest point of your career at Newcastle. You then go into the Dortmund game and it's totally the opposite. Not for you personally, I mean as a team. That's a reminder of how difficult this competition is. And can you just compare the two nights from the high of Paris to the low of Dortmund and what happened there?
Well, it's Champions League. We have a very tough group. Obviously, against Paris, I think was probably one of our best games and performances. And then you see what St James Park can do as well. So I just want to see this picture because that's where we want to be, and the level we want to be game by game. Obviously, you can't reach it maybe all the time, but that's the process we are in, and obviously we can learn a lot from the Dortmund game and then do it better next time.
And on Saturday we saw a different side to you guys, a nastier side perhaps at times. Do you guys enjoy playing like that, playing hard when you have to?
I enjoy to play whatever it takes to win a game, you know. Sometimes it's what needed. A game can go different ways, and I think we know what we need to do, and sometimes it's not obviously you play unbelievable nice football. Maybe sometimes you have games like Saturday where are really tight and like details and like a lot of fouls, I would say, and then like things off the pitch as well, which I don't really care because at the end it's just 3 points what matters, and obviously we were really happy to have to keep them in Newcastle.
You played in Newcastle when you played 5 at the back, parking the bus in relegation battles, but now teams playing a much more attacking style, which obviously you enjoy. How much happier as a person does that make you on a day-to-day basis, knowing you're going to play this good, entertaining football?
Well, it's the most entertainment for me is good results, and obviously we have better results now than we had a few years ago. So I don't really care how we get a win or how you play. Like I said, on Saturday wasn't probably our best game, but we won, and it was like perfect for us, you know. So I'm just enjoying being in the team, like I said, and obviously the way we've been through and where we came and where we are now is just really nice to see, and obviously I want to continue like that.
You obviously always wanted to stay at the club, but did it come to a point where you thought you might have to leave the club? There was a time when your contract situation was in the air, wasn't it? Well,
obviously there was time where I was thinking what's going to happen, because I was in a difficult situation. I wasn't sure if the club is still here for me or they still want me, to be fair. But as soon as the new manager Eddie walked in, I thought that's my chance. I kind of knew him before, so since that everything has changed, and I'm just really glad for the moment. Yeah.
Would you complain if you finished your career as a Newcastle player?
Complain? No. I mean, I would love to be fair.
Thanks, Lee. So we've got Dom, Martin, and then Oscar to finish, please.
I mean, just on the same subject, you signed a 2-year contract at the club a year and a half ago. Just what's the current situation on that, and how keen, as you say, would you be to extend that stay?
Well, you just said what the situation is, and I said how much I love the club, how much I want to be here. So I think that I don't have to say anything else.
Martin?
Fabian, you've beaten Manchester United, Manchester City, Paris Saint-Germain, Arsenal. How great is the desire of the players to keep doing that?
because as a footballer you want to win games, and obviously we want to achieve things, and I think we've seen last year what's possible, and for that you have to beat the best teams in the world, and especially also now when I speak for tomorrow, this group is so tough, so you have to compete against the best teams and win games, and that's why you play football.
And we all saw how tough it was on Saturday. Do you think other teams in England have been unsettled or unhappy at the rise of Newcastle at the minute?
I don't know, and I don't really care to be honest. It's just I'm not thinking what other people or clubs think about us. I just try to achieve the best possible thing for Newcastle as a club, and I think we're doing quite well, and just focusing on that.
And finally, can I just ask, what are players' thoughts on VAR at the minute, because there's so much controversy? Do the players talk about it, and what are their thoughts?
I think the media speak more than us players, to be fair. So I know it's a lot of things going on, decision which people have different opinions and stuff like this. But as a player, you're on the pitch and want to play football, and you can't really change anything, you know. So I think for ourselves, it's best just to focus on the game and forget the rest. Obviously, sometimes you have decisions where you're not happy with, but there's nothing you really can do. So forget it and just focus on football.
And Oscar, to finish off, please.
You've alluded to the tough times you had here before Eddie came in. You're out of the side considering your future. Here you are on the eve of a huge Champions League game. Have you proved the former manager wrong?
I don't know. Well, you have to ask him. I think I had 2 great years now under Eddie. Performed on the highest level. I think I improved as well a lot under Eddie. He made me a better player, and obviously when the team is doing well, it's easier as a player as well to improve. And I'm just happy to see the way the club has been and where I was as well, and where it's now.
There's this perception that maybe you couldn't play in a back four. I mean, what did you make of that at the time? Are you able to laugh now at those?
I don't know who said that.
There was this idea potentially under the previous manager that you are comfortable in a back four.
Yeah, well, I feel quite comfortable in the back four. So, you know.
Did you say before he joined the club? Did you say a moment ago you'd had dealings with Eddie before?
Yeah, we had contact before when he was manager at Bournemouth. Yeah, a few years ago. Yeah.
Thanks very much, everyone. Thank you.
Thank you.